Hail Internet! It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here to talk about Star Trek Discovery, Season 1, Episode 8.
Yes.
Here's that Latin I don't know. Si vis pacem para bellum, which I believe means, if you want peace, prepare for war. And you do this. Okay. So, brief synopsis before we jump into it. Just in case, again, we are your CBS All Access.
Just in case,
stand-in.
Suffering from Alzheimer's.
That too. So, we open with the Discovery pretty much in battle.
Yep. They're
trying to save the Gagarin, which I believe that's what it was called, named after an astronaut.
There you
go.
Okay.
It's like 1 on 6. I think there were like 6 ships, and then the Enterprise is doing its best to like block torpedoes, but it doesn't block all the torpedoes, and boom. And basically it's the idea of like, hey, even though we've got this cool ship on our side, we're still losing.
Well, I mean,
because they have cloaks.
There are times when we're losing.
Yeah, and we do establish that the cloaks don't work when they're firing.
Yes,
which is that is canon.
Yes,
so that was kind of nice. For the one canon thing they kept. Holodeck. All right. Anyway, so there's that. We lost. Oh shoot! And then we cut to there's this planet Pavo, which. Basically, the nature of the planet is such that they're hoping to use the electromagnetic waves of the planet somehow. Anyway, they can use the construction of the planet.
Some aspect of the planet.
I'm confused on that point, which we could talk about. But some aspect of the planet they can use to see cloaked vessels, and that's what they're trying to acquire.
Yes.
So they send an away mission. There are no red shirts on that away mission. No. It is Saru and Michael and Ash. And the 3 of them go down to the planet to find the thing that'll help save the war.
Yep.
On that planet, a couple of interesting things happen. One, Saru kind of becomes a convert to the planet, almost like mutinies, basically. Not just basically, he mutinies. He wants to stay on the planet because it's the first time he's never felt fear. This racial component of always feeling fear is nullified when in the presence of the inhabitants of Pavo. Yes. We also do see that they didn't realize that there were inhabitants of Pavo. Once they find that out, then Michael cites, we have to do the Prime Directive, General Order 1, but that's the Prime Directive, which is, we need permission in order to actually do anything.
Well, one thing he says in terms of like the Prime Directive actually says, careful, don't interfere with the organs of a planet that's not work capable or whatever. But forget it, they've been seen, so really they're in
phase
contact.
2. Yeah, they're first contact, right?
First contact.
Okay.
Is,
Prime Directive.
Its own protocols.
Out the window.
Words, we can't just like do whatever we want here. We have to let them know what we're doing, and they have to get permission.
And the they is kind of a spore. It looks like the spores actually, but whatever. It's wavy things that are immaterial.
Different kind of spores.
Different kind of spores. So basically, Michael ends up shooting Saru. I mean, stunning him, but shooting him with her phaser several times. We learn that Saru can run really fast and he's really strong.
Yep, he's all those things.
Hulk smash. Ash and Michael kiss. We've got they go back to the ship where Saru is recovering and has a kind of a speech about, hey, you know what? It was me down there. I wasn't being controlled by the aliens. I just really liked not being afraid. And then we find out that the planet itself, the living planet, has summoned the Klingons to show up. The implication is that these aliens want to foster peace.
Yes.
Because they're a harmony planet.
Yes,
so they're fostering peace between the Klingons and the Federation, except obviously the Klingons aren't coming for peace.
No.
So there's like, oh, shoot. Now
we know they hate that phrase.
That's right. We come in peace. Don't ever say that to a Klingon.
No.
He'll punch you in the face.
That's right.
So it's a two-parter, basically. It's a cliffhanger. Oh, here come the Klingons. Okay, we're going to have to fight.
Yep.
So meanwhile, there's a subplot which is on the Klingon ship that's on its way, conveniently.
Not until I get to the end of the episode.
Right. Which you've got Cole, who kind of took over and kicked Vok out and is like, I'm the leader now, and has been giving, as a prize to the houses that follow him, the cloaking stuff. So It's like, you can cloak, and you can cloak, and you can cloak.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Laurel, who was Vok's love interest and second in command or whatever, she is still pretending to be Cole's in Cole's entourage.
Sure.
We think.
Sure.
Cole has possession of Admiral Cornwell, has been torturing her for information. Laurel says, "Let me have a crack at her," and then seems like she is like trying to use Cornwell to help her escape. Like, hey, the two of us can get out of here. During this escape attempt, they're seen, and Laurel apparently kills Cornwell. I think there's still up for debate as to whether Cornwell's actually dead.
I agree that it's up for debate.
And
although it seems like it.
Then professes her allegiance again to Cole. Like, see, look, that prisoner was trying to escape, and I killed that prisoner, so I'm good.
Yep.
Cole doesn't believe it. It's like, take her away.
Well, not before initially making it seem like he accepted her.
Right.
By accepting her into his family, but then after he'd marked her, and it's like, okay, now take
here you
her
go.
away.
Now, okay, I don't believe you.
So either they're executing her, or perhaps it's some sort of hazing thing, where it's like, oh, you're in.
Yeah.
Now it's smacking around, that liar.
And that's pretty much, in a nutshell, that's kind of where we left off.
Yes.
Okay. So, Paul, what did you think of this episode?
Not my favorite. It was fine. I mean, to the extent where we saw Sorrel, it was a sorrow-focused episode.
He was full of sorrow.
He was. Okay. Sorrow. To the extent that it was his episode, I liked it. I mean,
Doug Jones. Good.
I don't feel as if I got enough, though, because maybe it was competing with other plot lines. So, even though we got to see a different aspect and we learned different details about him, I think I'd rather, get more of a sense of, the things that are important to him. So it was good that we saw more of him, but I, wasn't, crazy about it. And I was happy. Oh, one thing we didn't mention was the your favorite crew member.
Well, I mentioned that Stamets has a short interlude there. You're talking Stamets and Tilly talking?
Well, we learned, that it's now he's past or at least he's past the being high from interacting with it. Now he's starting to get grumpy again, primarily because he's getting confused.
Yeah, there's a lot happening in that very short. It's like two scenes basically.
Yes.
It's him coming out of the machine, the engine.
Yes.
And then him, Tilly approaching him in the cafeteria.
Yes.
So those two scenes are actually, I think, have a lot of long-term consequences for the show.
And it made me like her even more. And I'll tell you why. Because he tried to bully her and say, hey, I'm not going to talk to you. I just saw you do. I could report you right now and screw you, okay? So, sorry, I'm not scared of you. Tell me what's going on with you.
Gotcha. The I'll say the low point of the show in terms of like, oh no, please, was the implication when Stamets comes out of the machine and he's confused. And one of his first things is, Captain, what are you doing here? And then Tilly's like, what are you talking about? And the implication...
You read it. Yeah.
The implication I read it as is... Because he says then, within that, somewhere in that cafeteria moment, where he's like, look, there's times where I know where I am, and then there's times where I'm confused, and I can't tell if it's me here, or I forget how he puts it, but basically I'm confused. So if it fits, I'll say this: it fits in the description of mirror universe.
What's going on?
And you have this version of him.
It could fit into
like flipping. Maybe each time he uses it, he gets a glimpse of the mirror universe, or he's in it and then he's out, because he was happy guy, and you're right, he's now grumpy guy again.
Yep.
He's back to original version of himself. And he said
with confusion.
And his comment of confusing Tilly for the captain could mean that in the mirror universe, Tilly is captain of the Discovery, which would be my worst nightmare. Oh, man. Oh, please don't let Tilly be captain of the Discovery.
That never occurred to me.
Please don't let Tilly.
And I don't think, but after
she wants to be captain, after she's on a track, and then it's a horrible war in the mirror universe, and everybody's getting killed off, and there's only we got to get junior officers up. Oh, it's Tilly's turn. I'm just saying, you could come up with an excuse, which I hope they don't do, to have Tilly be the captain. But
after how she dealt with Stamets, the next scene, I wanted to be captain. Yeah, right on. I'd be like, yeah, buddy.
Captain Tilly.
Captain Tilly.
All right.
Captain Tilly.
All right, Captain Tilly. So, now, okay. I was going to bring this up a little bit later, but we're talking about it, so let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
There's, in regards to Stamets, I was going to bring it up in this context. On the planet, we have Ash and Michael talking, and Ash is like, hey, when we're all done, I'm going to go trout fishing.
Right.
And Michael's like, yeah, well, when this war's over, I'm going back to jail.
Yes.
So, yay, happy times. Yes. I don't know. And so then he's like, oh, you're right. Well, maybe we should just not find things and just let the war go on, because then we can be together.
Yep.
And he basically says the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many.
Yes.
The reverse of the Spock motif, which is then somewhat that mindset, the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many, kind of is mirrored in what Stamets says when he basically is saying, hey, Tilly's whole point in coming to him is, you got a problem.
Right.
We need you, and you should get help.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, no. Because if I go to get help from the doctor,
his husband,
then so it's either he's gonna have to send me away, which will hurt him, or he'll have to hide it, and then they'll find out, and then he'll get fired, and then they'll hurt him too. And so, I get that, and that's a very powerful. I can understand why he would do that.
Sure.
That's not an unbelievable reasoning, but it is really selfish.
Oh yeah.
In terms of, there is no one on the ship that is more integral to the survival of the people on that ship than the guy who is the engine.
Yes.
Like, if he could literally kill them all by accident in a split second of we're all dead.
Oh yeah, what was it? It was he said because of the genetic modifications, which is illegal. It's like they know about it though. It's like you think if they were gonna do it, I guess they would want to study him. I guess. And then I guess quarantine him maybe is what his point is, I guess. So he wouldn't, but I'm sure, his husband could probably be on the crew with him, like checking him out, taking his blood pressure.
It just seemed like a really selfish move to say,
I'm
really worried about him, but not about the rest of the crew. That could
one of those things where it's like, clearly this could really be bad, but because we don't like the results of trying to investigate that, we're going to ignore it. It'll be fine.
I guess it's also maybe why at this point more ships aren't using the technology, maybe because they haven't. Have they led on to the rest of the Federation that's, what flies this ship is Stamets?
I'm pretty sure. I feel like they mentioned.
You don't feel like they have? It feels like they mentioned it, but maybe they.
It was one of the litany of things that she was throwing in his face before she, got sent away.
I'll put it this way.
And I feel as if it wasn't like, I just found out what you did to Stamets. Oh no! Well, okay. Before you report me, why don't you go? No, that had nothing to do with it. It's like that's just one of the list of things where it's like, whoa, what are you doing, crazy man?
It just seems like if they know that and the technology exists,
they still have their prohibition against doing that sort of genetic treatment.
So that's why there's not more ships.
Yeah.
So they're just doing it anyway. Be damned.
Yeah, perhaps they're like, okay, now we know. Can we get another animal to do this? Or maybe they're just like,
let's go on a tardigrade hunt.
Here's a machine that's like him.
That's right. Yes, right. It's a virtual tardigrade, not a dude.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously the cloaked ships for the Klingons are all cloaked.
Yep.
Pretty much, they're up and running.
Yep.
There's still just the one Discovery at this point, kind of hopping in and out.
Yep.
So okay. So I just thought that was interesting. That was the needs of the one, needs of the many thing was kind of echoed in this.
He was, using that Klingon, or no, sorry, Vulcan MacBook. How to get it on with a Klingon, with a Vulcan.
So we do see that, and we're talking about Ash in this moment. So there's a moment where Saru is trying to share the wonderfulness.
Yes, the green glow.
Let me open your mind.
That's right.
With this green kryptonite thing.
Yes.
And when Ash touches it, Saru says, "You're false."
Yes.
Now, in the context of the actual story, he's being false because he's just trying to delay for time while Michael goes ahead. But if you are a believer, as we are, that
I believe it,
that Ash is in some way Vok, whether he's subconsciously Vok or I don't see him being intentionally Vok at this point, but that's whatever. Like, in other words, I don't think it's Vok.
You think he's sleeper Vok?
I think he's sleeper Vok somehow.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Well, in other words, like if it was like literally Vok with just like a face paint on, you're like, "Hi, I'm actually Vok the whole time. I've been here."
They don't. This is not Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it's not right. Good point. That's a good way to describe it. I don't see it as Mission Impossible Vok.
No, they've altered him physically, which is why he's so upset.
And I feel like he has a personality of Ash Tyler as well.
I agree. Yeah, which is making me wonder if he's. I only thought of it as we were talking about. If he's some sort of sleeper, so he's sort of like. He can
at some point
convince them, like, oh, I can behave like this other person.
Like, for instance, here's okay. I just threw this out there. You just thought of something. I just thought of something. Ooh. Laurel's on her way.
Right, there she is.
She's not dead yet.
No,
she's going to get out of whatever situation she's in, at least temporarily.
Probably.
Maybe the sleeper thing is once she teams up with Ash again, she's like, we're back. Be-doo, 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 be-doo.
Okay, could be.
Yes, here's all the stuff I've learned. Whatever.
Could
anyway,
be.
Maybe.
She
could have control over it.
Maybe.
So that your false thing kind of leads into this idea that he is Vok because maybe Saru detected.
When that happened, I felt like there was stuff happening to Ash's body.
Yes, and then what was very odd was later, the Pavoids teleport him to the site of the battle. Did you notice that?
Oh yes.
So it's like suddenly Ash steps out of the spores and is like, "Hi, I've come to help." Yeah. You're like, "Wait, what? When did that become a thing?" So they liked him enough to. Your friend needs help. Boom.
We all, they believe in peace. So hey, you go bring some peace. Bring the peace.
So that's another thought though, is did he have time to like communicate with them, and maybe that's why they brought the Klingons, because he's part Klingon, and so they're like, "You want to be with your kind."
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they were telling him that we need to do this to stop the Klingons.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
So Saru, I didn't necessarily buy if it literally was just him. Now maybe he's, as you said, I think you told me you thought maybe he's just being guilty.
Yes.
He's feeling guilty.
Yes.
But if it was literally just him going, "Wow, I don't feel fear for the first time. I'll try to kill you guys."
Yeah.
Like that felt wrong for the character.
Yes, no.
So you're saying that he actually was manipulated or something?
Yeah, because that's irrational. It's like, if it's like, "Wow, I feel great. Guys, I feel great. Why don't you go ahead and do that stuff and I'll stay here?"
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
what the...
Like he was touching their faces.
Yeah.
I like that a little bit. The look on their face on
why would
Ash.
if he was so happy, why couldn't he let them go off and do war? Why does he have to...
Yeah.
It's like...
Just leave me here.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with the guy. All right, so why did they have a hut, by the way? This is a non-corporeal form thing that kind of like spins around. The fact that they had a spire and a hut seemed weird to me.
Yeah, the spire, seems crazy because I guess they were like, oh, we want to communicate with other beings outside of us, so they created some sort of spire. I don't think they made the hut. I think it's Starfleet that made the hut.
So you feel like Ash, Saru, and Michael made a hut?
Yep.
When they landed?
Yep.
All right, it's a pretty nice hut.
Well,
they're
Starfleet.
Okay. How to make a hut.
Only the best.
That's right. Lean-to, bah. We're making a hut. We're making it fully functional.
Yep.
Gonna have a moon roof. Anyway. So Cornwell, dead or not dead?
I think she's alive because I feel as if they didn't do a good job of making it consequential if they really intended that to be her death.
It is true. Like why go there? The only point was for L'Orelle's point of view, other than if she's dead, and I agree she's not dead.
But you could say that it's poorly handled as their previous security commander or whatever. That person's death was pretty abrupt. So, but
the shot of her being dragged off, that's what it was like. To me, said she's alive. Because if she's just dead, then you just move on. Why go back and then show a close up of her face, and she's dragged out of screen? I mean, it just felt gratuitous if you're just focusing on someone who's dead. But if you're like, keep in mind this person's being transported somewhere, anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm also wondering then, let's assume she's alive.
Okay.
I'm going to guess then that means L'Orelle intentionally knocked her out without killing her.
Sure.
And so she still intends to try to escape with Cornwell.
Why not?
It was part of her plans to be like, hey, I knocked you out, but we had no choice, and we were about to all be killed off by Cole.
Yep.
And so I think maybe that's still on. Although, obviously, L'Orelle is right now... I mean, I think Cole says, we'll show you what we do to traitors, which I'm going to guess Klingons kill traitors. I would think that's what you do to a traitor.
Yeah. Maybe you do a couple other things first.
Yeah. So she's...
Or afterward, though. We don't know about stuff they do like that.
Yeah. Maybe there's a
I guess
trial?
they eat.
I don't think there's a trial.
No, maybe not. No.
So it seems like she's got a death penalty, but she hasn't been killed yet.
Right.
Meaning she's not...
Probably not.
Probably not going to die.
Probably not.
In this moment.
Yeah. That'd be kind of crazy.
But yeah, so you're right. If Cornwell's dead, it did feel like, why even have her in this whole arc? It almost... I hope she's not dead, just for the sake of like, okay, you've invested some time in this character, let's have her be a character.
Yeah. Instead
of just plot device for different people.
Yeah.
Didn't see a lot of Lorca this time. We basically saw him in the initial battle.
Yeah.
And he's almost crazily defending that ship, maybe as an atonement for when he blew up the first ship he had.
Maybe.
Because they're like, shields are down to 10%.
Yeah.
All right, let's get in front of let's block it with the torpedoes.
Yeah.
And you see that moment of the navigators like, okay, like this is a bad idea.
I don't know.
And so
I have to watch that again.
It's kind of almost a suicidal little.
Well, I guess they're like, are you listening to this person tell you that slowly 70%, 60%, 10%?
Because they went fast. It was like, shields are at 100%, 70, 50, 10. You're like, okay, you have literally seconds to survive. Plus, there's no guarantee if you're getting hit that many times that your drive isn't going to go offline.
Yeah.
I mean, they were pretty much completely relying on the fact that they can zip out of there.
They were.
And, we're offline.
I mean,
goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, presumably, who knows?
Kiss your butt, goodbye.
Yeah, you're taking a risk there, even though they got away.
They were very risky. It was very risky.
It was deliberately, obviously. I mean,
and it didn't save the ship that they were trying to save.
No. But that's pretty powerful, though, if you can do that.
Right, take all the shots, then disappear, and then repair yourself, and then go back, take all the shots, disappear. If they could get the cloaking device, they should put the cloak on their ship.
Yeah.
Now you can go anywhere and cloak.
Yeah.
You would be unstoppable. What other insights did we get from this episode, sir? We talked about Stamets, we talked about Tilly, we talked about... So Michael and Ash obviously are a couple.
Yeah.
Is Ash deliberately deceptive, or is he really having feelings for her? And maybe that's where this will come about, where the sleeper Vok will be coming out, but because Ash actually has feelings for Michael, he'll be able to like fight it. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, you would, I don't think I'd be looking forward to some sort of two-personality thing going on.
Yeah.
More the fact that, integrating all these new experiences in order to pose as a human, it's affected how I see things or whatever. So, and most of what he's expressing...
Because he is a guy that hates assimilating. The idea of assimilating is bad.
Correct.
So,
but the other thing that sort of he keeps expressing, which you're sort of like, everything he says against the Klingons, you're sort of like, well, I can see how you would be happy with the Klingons, It's like, he's mad at the girl, and then he's, so, and then they kicked him out, and he wasn't really the one, he wasn't the savior, that was the other guy. So he's just the guy that was following him, and because he actually... people thought lowly of him, but the savior was sort of like, oh no, everybody who's a Klingon is good. Presumably that's dead with him, that feeling. So he's had a lifetime of actually not being accepted by Klingons, and he kind of saw himself maybe having a role in making the Klingon be great the way they used to be, and then they killed the savior, and then they sort of turned on him. And then and
Laurel even mentions like, oh, and they cast out my...
they cast him out. Yeah. So, he might be thinking again, and the whole thing about Laurel, being a defector, that actually might be, who knows if that's something that doesn't grow.
Right. And if she does confront Ash, obviously, because she sexually assaulted Ash, or at least in Ash's mind...
If Ash believes that, yes.
If he believes that, then it'd be a tough revisiting. I assume they're going to see each other again.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah, and so it'd be interesting if she tries to Vok him, and he's like, "No, I'm too busy punching your face."
Yeah.
I guess one thing that is a little. It's part of maybe the problem I had with Saru in this episode is it seems like a lot of people are being false to themselves, either by confusion or by perhaps intent. But you've got Stamets is confused,
yes.
Saru is confused, yes. Ash is probably being deceptive.
Tilly still knows she wants to be a captain.
Tilly still knows. Laurel is being deceptive and then not being deceptive and deceptive again. And it's hard to tell. Cole, I guess, is deceptive briefly. And then it's like, you are a fool. I know that you're... But just so many people are being deceptive and or working against their own personality type that it's hard... I guess we haven't known their personality type enough yet to like let them play with that enough that it's hard for me to get grounded in some of these folks. When I'm like, I'd like to know who you are first, then you play against type. It's a little easier for me to go with you on this journey.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going with Saru on this journey as much as I'm like, that guy should be in jail. Like, he should be in the brig. He tried to kill two of his...
Hey, he was under the influence.
But he says he's not.
Yeah, but don't listen to him. Listen to the people who were there.
That's right.
Both Ash and... Michael were, and it happened after
he's like, which, there should be a protocol for that, by the way. They have all these, prime directive, first contact.
Yes.
You know what the best protocol is? Just stick your hands in the cloud and then move your face in. Like, dude, great. I got this. I'm good. Woo, peace and love. Anyway. He was Mr. Burns from Simpsons. There's a Simpsons moment in there where he says, I bring you love.
Oh, yes.
So, anyway, we're coming up on episode 9, which is going to be the second part of this.
Yes.
And
mid-season finale.
The Klingons are on their way to this planet, and I think the idea is the Discovery can't just run away because they're worried that the Klingons will destroy this.
Yes. They said we have to defend them.
Yeah, so they have to stay and fight to defend this life form.
Yeah.
A little convoluted, but all right, that's Star Trek.
Yep.
It does that.
Yep.
So So yeah. Anyway, we're in. We'll watch this. There's gonna be, I assume, a cliffhanger moment.
Sure.
To get you into the next half of the season, which will be in January.
What do you think? Do you think it's going to be, I'm really Vok? You think that's still going to be a cliffhanger?
That is definitely a high possibility. I say one of two things. It's either the I'm Vok, or Michael gets caught in the mirror universe. I think we learn about the mirror universe, and someone, probably Michael, gets trapped in it. And we have that moment.
But okay, here's the thing though. You remember how the mirror universe works.
Yes.
So typically it's like
we had Kirk caught in the mirror universe.
Right. And back in the actual universe
it's evil Michael. Yeah. Good point.
And we don't typically see too much of that either, actually. So that'd be an interesting
So if she has a goatee, then we know evil Michael's shown up.
No. So that'd be interesting if they were like, somebody goes to the mirror universe, and we're back in our own universe seeing this other person behave the way they shouldn't be behaving. Although typically...
maybe it's simpler to just have it's Stamets, but it's probably not Stamets.
That would be... You're right. It would be simpler to be Stamets. But I feel like they would say that's the second season, personally.
Okay.
I mean, second part of the season.
Part of the season.
I'm
just saying that...
I don't know what it would be other than that. No.
I don't think they're going to have them... I don't think we're going to have Michael make a mutineering choice.
Or
yet.
You could,
I think that's later.
What if the Admiral's like, okay, now I'm back, and now I'm going to report your ass?
True, if she's not dead and L'Rell helps her escape, Lorca's like, oh, shoot.
Yes.
You were supposed to die. We were following protocols, so we couldn't get to you in time.
Yeah, so that could be.
Good point. Now I'm going to finish what I started. Dun, 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 credits or something.
Or he just, blam.
Oh, well, Lorca shoots her.
Shoots her or does something that makes it,
Then he crosses the threshold of, so you're crazy.
And, I almost said Lorca, and that's who I'm talking about. Soru's there, maybe.
Soru's there to witness it?
Yes.
And what would he do in that moment?
Yeah, well, I guess he would narc.
Yeah, he would narc.
So maybe he sees after the fact and has to investigate.
Okay.
Yeah, because of course he would.
So the investigation would be next half of the season.
Yeah.
So you're saying it could end with Lorca doing what he almost did.
Yes.
When he woke up and tried to put a gun to her head.
Yes.
That he shoots the Admiral who's going to just come back.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, that's a good.
I think so.
All right, I'm going with. God, the longer they hold off on this Vok thing, assuming it's true.
Yeah, I know.
The more it's like, oh, okay. So you almost hope they pay it off. They do have L'Rell showing up.
Yes.
So maybe that pays off.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's possible that they do that. Part of me wonders if they really are selling it. I feel like they still haven't established too much yet. Either they make it clear to the audience that it's Vox and not any other crew members, so in which case then the people who didn't know until then can be like, okay, now we're in on it. But I feel like for the whole crew to know that it's Vox is too soon.
Okay. Now, we do see from the trailer, there was obviously a big space battle.
Right.
And then we also see Michael, apparently on the Klingon ship, fighting Cole. She challenges him to a duel, and he's like, I accept.
Yes.
And then they're fighting, but she's somehow by herself on that ship.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, that's weird.
Yeah, I agree.
As you say, that's weird. So she somehow either gets someone traitorously captures her, she gets kidnapped, or she volunteers to go over, which I don't think Lorca would let her.
No. And it's hard to imagine her having too many episodes over there, too.
Yeah, right.
It's not like the whole second part of the season, her over on
maybe the spore, the Pavins teleporter over there. Oh, you know what? You need to talk to the Klingons. Right. Stop doing this. But somehow she ends up on the ship, and that could also be a moment where Admiral Cornwell, and L'Rell combine with her, and the three of them get off the ship together. Maybe. So there's that. But yeah, it's tough to know what that final beat's going to be. I think the final beat is going to be, as we've said here, one of three things. Lorca kills the Admiral. Michael and or Stamets goes to the Mirror Universe. Or Vok gets revealed. I mean, it's just Ash gets revealed as Vok. One of those three things we think is the cliffhanger. What you said, Lorca kills the Admiral.
Oh, yeah.
So, there you go. That's our predictions, our Dork Lord predictions. And we'll see if we're right. Coming up next, we're going to be having Mr. Robot. But in the meantime, enjoy, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Live long, prosper, that stuff. Bye.